Hi, this is Indranil and you are watching Business Bites in our channel The Spotlight, India's first online business news channel. In today's Business Bites, first news we have Apple ships 98% of their iPhone exports from India to the US in March because of new tariff war. Second news we have the Swedish furniture retailer IKEA to expand next day e-commerce deliveries to more Asian markets. Third news we have China's manufacturing activities got a harsh impact because of the trade war with the United States. Fourth news we have electronics contract manufacturer Dixon Technologies formed JV with Taiwan's Inventec to make IT hardware. And fifth news we have world's largest theme park operator Universal Studios to launch their first amusement park in India. In first news, Apple ships 98% of their iPhone exports from India to the US in March because of new tariff war. To manage and to cope up with the higher import tariffs from China, Apple shipped nearly 98% of their total iPhone exports from India to the US in March this year, while the shipment before the tariff announcement month have gathered momentum from the US-bound iPhone cargo, which was 82% of the exports till February. The Trump administration announced a 10% base tariff on imports from most of the countries, when an additional reciprocal tariffs on countries it runs a trade deficit with, which include China and Vietnam, as they export the majority of consumer electronics products to the US. And the reciprocal tariff on China has gone up to 245% for some products. However, consumer electronics items like smartphones and laptops have been exempted from reciprocal tariffs. With this expanding iPhone production capacity, India's reputation would enhance in the global supply chain, and particularly if a US-India bilateral trade agreement is secured by the third quarter of 2025. When this move requires substantial investment and collaboration from contract manufacturers like Tata Electronics, which is supported by India's production-linked incentive scheme, while India has streamlined foreign investment processes. In second news, the Swedish furniture retailer IKEA to expand next-day e-commerce deliveries to more Asian markets after the successful pilot in India. In Asia, apart from India, IKEA is present in the markets like China, Japan, Hong Kong, Singapore and Thailand, when IKEA in February this year opened their first fulfillment center dedicated for e-commerce in Gurugram for the northern markets like the National Capital Region, Prayagraj, Ludhiana, Amritsar, Agra and Chandigarh. Currently, Indian e-commerce is in the race of delivery war, which is led by e-commerce and quick commerce companies, which is forcing most businesses to change their online operations and delivery timelines, where IKEA is known for their blue box stores, which is generally located on city outskirts, while their e-commerce channel is now a focus area in India. IKEA India posted 1,299 crore loss on revenue of 1,809 crore in the financial year 2024, and they are focusing on different formats in India, where they had just launched a new format in Bengaluru, which is a plan and order store, where one can plan an entire room with the help of IKEA's design team and furnish it. And this format is also a global first format launched in India for IKEA. Presently, the top 4 categories for IKEA in India are storage supplies, bedroom, kitchen and children's segment. And the company is soon going to launch next day delivery of online orders in Japan and South Korea, when they have also rolled out this model in Spain after successful launch in India. In third news, China's manufacturing activities got a harsh impact because of the trade war with the United States. The impact of the measure started showing from the month of April with the Purchasing Managers Index, commonly known as PMI, which is a key measure of industrial output, which is falling to 49 in the month of April in China, where below the 50-point mark that separates growth and contraction. The PMI reading from the month of April was down from 50.5, which was in March, and that was the highest in 12 months. When the non-manufacturing PMI, which measures activity in the services sector, was also down and came at 40.4, which was 50.8 in the month of March 2025. China's factory activity squeezed in April this year, which was called as sharp shift in the global economy as it fights a huge trade war with the United States when the US tariffs have reached 145% on many Chinese products came into force in April, while China has responded with a fresh 125% duties on imports from the United States. Global economists have warned that the disruption in trade between the tightly integrated US and Chinese economies could threaten businesses, increase prices for consumers, and may cause a global recession. In fourth news, electronics contract manufacturer Dixon Technologies formed JV with Taiwan's Inventec to make IT hardware. The Noida-based Dixon Technologies formed the joint venture, which was named as Dixon IT Devices Private Limited, to boost their IT hardware manufacturing business, where Dixon Technologies will be owned 60% and the remaining 40% will be owned by Inventec. Taiwan-based Inventec is an original design manufacturer for IT hardware, where the newly formed joint venture entity will manufacture notebook, personal computer products, services, desktops, and PC components in India. Dixon Technologies plans to open a dedicated manufacturing facility as part of their joint venture, which will be separate from their 1,000 crore facility, which will be coming up in Chennai. This new joint venture entity will also look at in participating in the India government's 22,000 crore new PLI scheme for electronic component manufacturing.
Electronics components are having a very large spectrum of, in a sense, the structure is very different. For example, there will be some components which will have a lot of capex required. There will be some components where the turnover will be very high compared to the capex which is put in. So that's why we decided to have a focused way in which components which require capex support will be giving capex support, and components, and in fact for all the components we are also keeping an employment linked incentive. Once a certain employment threshold is crossed, then only the incentives will start kicking in. So that's very important. Today, as you know, electronics manufacturing has grown 5 times in the last 10 years. It is now close to 10 lakh crore industry.
Where each of Dixon Technologies subsidiaries being formed to make components will separately apply for their participation in the scheme. And in fifth news, one of the world's largest theme park operator Universal Studios to launch their first amusement park in India. Bharti Real Estate, which is a part of Sunil Mittal's Bharti Enterprises, is developing India's biggest 3 million square feet mall near the Delhi airport, where they are expected to lease 3 lakh square feet for an indoor theme park. When presently, international operators like Timezone, Fun City and Funtura have a 28% share in the entertainment space in India, while the unorganized domestic players dominate the sector. Universal Studios is having their theme parks in Beijing, Japan, in the US and in Singapore, where almost half of the operational indoor amusement centers in India are in the gaming zone format, which is followed by trampoline parks and the emerging entertainment format. Currently, India has 6.6 million square feet of operational indoor amusement centers across 523 locations, and by 2028, the indoor amusement center area is expected to reach 11 million square feet with large retail developments and malls, which are expected to accommodate the innovative centers. Bharti Real Estate has already started the development at Delhi Aerocity of about 6.5 million square feet with an investment of more than 6,595 crore, which has a total development potential of 17 million square feet, where about 5 million square feet of the total portfolio will be for retail, and once completed, the project is expected to generate annual rental income of more than 5,000 crore. So these were the top 5 business newses from Business Bytes in our channel The Spotlight, India's first online business news channel. I'd like to request you to please subscribe this channel so that you can have all the updates from our end. Thank you very much for watching Business Bytes and signing it off.